All right, let's dive into something pretty fascinating. We're talking about a huge point of connection between two of the world's biggest religions, Christianity and Islam. See, they're both waiting for the same guy to come back, Jesus, or Isa as he's known in Islam. But here's the twist. They expect him to do completely, and I mean completely, opposite things. So let's break it down.
Just think about that for a second. What if two of the largest religions on the entire planet are waiting for the exact same person to return? It's a huge deal, right? Both Christians and Muslims believe that Jesus is coming back to Earth before the final day of judgment. It's actually one of the biggest theological agreements they have, a shared belief in one single figure.
But, and this is a huge but, this is exactly where the story just splits wide open. They might agree he's coming back, but why he's coming back, who he is, what his mission is, whoa, completely different stories. It's like they're reading from two totally different scripts for the end of the world.
So let's start with the most important difference, the one that changes everything else, who Jesus is when he comes back. This one single point shapes the entire story.
Okay, so you can see right away the differences are just stark. For Christians, you've got a divine status, a goal of judgment, and this big cosmic arrival. For Muslims, it's a human status, a goal of correcting the record, and an arrival that happens in a very specific spot, right here on Earth.
And this really gets to the heart of it, the core identity conflict. Is he coming back as the King of Kings, the sovereign God King, here to rule and judge everyone? That's the Christian view. Or is he returning as a human prophet, a Muslim, a follower of the final message, to set the record straight on true belief in one God? That's the Islamic view. You see, everything he does, every single action, flows from one of these two identities.
And with two different identities, you're going to get two very different entrances. The way each faith describes him arriving on the world stage really sets the tone for his whole mission. So on one hand, you have this incredible image from the Bible of a glorious, unmistakable event for the whole world to see, Jesus coming down from the clouds. But on the other hand, Islamic tradition gives a super precise, earthly location, a white minaret in Damascus with his hands on the wings of two angels. One is this massive cosmic display, the other is a very specific terrestrial event. So let's dig into the Christian narrative first. According to the Bible, Jesus' return isn't some quiet event. It is the absolute climax of all of human history, and it's all about judgment. This is what's known as the second coming. And here's the crucial thing to get. This isn't the same Jesus from his first ministry. He's not coming back as a humble servant or a sacrificial lamb. No, he's returning as a powerful, conquering warrior king, and he's ready to execute divine judgment. This verse from the book of Revelation just captures that shift perfectly. The imagery is so powerful, right? A king on a white horse coming to judge and make war. It totally sets the stage for a world-altering chain of events. And those events follow a pretty clear path. First, he defeats the armies of the Antichrist at the epic battle of Armageddon. After that, he judges all the nations, separating them like a shepherd. This kicks off a 1,000-year reign of peace, ruled from Jerusalem, and it all leads to the complete restoration of the world. We're talking a new heaven and a new earth. Now, let's switch gears and look at the Islamic perspective, because it builds a completely different kind of story. Here, his mission isn't about universal judgment, it's about making specific corrections and confirming the final message of Islam. Right away, his actions are very, very specific. First, he's going to find and kill the Antichrist, who's known as the Dajjal. Then he does these two deeply symbolic things. He breaks the cross and kills swine, which are meant to correct what Islam sees as changes to his original teachings. And finally, he abolishes the jizya, a tax that non-Muslims historically paid, which signals that from that moment on, only Islam will be accepted. This quote from a key hadith narration is so central to his mission in Islam. Now, for Muslims, this isn't about attacking anyone. It's about Jesus himself setting the record straight and restoring what they believe was his true, original monotheistic teaching. And this is where the Islamic narrative takes another really interesting turn. A huge part of why Jesus comes back is to provide the ultimate, final, undeniable proof that he's a human being and not divine. To prove he's human, Islamic traditions say he's going to live a totally normal human life. He'll get married, he'll have children. Some sources even say his sons will be named Muhammad and Musa. He'll live on earth for 40 years, and then he'll die a natural death. After he dies, he's to be buried in a very specific, vacant plot in Medina, right next to the Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so what does this all mean for the world? Well, these two very different missions that come from two very different identities lead to two completely different fates for all of humanity.
It really all boils down to this one thing. In the Christian view, his return is the ultimate proof that he's divine. But in the Islamic view, his return is the ultimate proof that he's not. It's this massive identity conflict playing out on a global stage, where he returns to say, yes, this is who I am, or no, that is not who I am.
And that choice directly shapes the world's destiny. The biblical mission ends in a final, permanent reboot of reality itself into a new heaven and a new earth. The Islamic mission, on the other hand, brings about a temporary golden age, a time of perfect justice and peace with him in charge. But it's a period that lasts for a while before the world finally ends and the real final resurrection happens.
And so that leaves us with this final big question to think about. In both of these great traditions, the question of who Jesus is isn't just some abstract theology. It literally determines the fate of everything and everyone. It's a pretty powerful idea that one single identity can shape the very end of the story for us all.